Good morning, little Frida. Good morning, world. It is a cool, kind of foggy morning, maybe 8:30. The air is pretty brisk. I kept the door closed last night. Most of the time I leave it open, or at least cracked. And it's airish out. It feels too cool to water. Everything still looks a little happy from yesterday still. But this is what our mornings look like. Just beyond those buildings, there's a ridge on the horizon, and the clouds typically bottle up behind it until they pour over, kind of like an overfull sink. You just watch the clouds pour over, and then they run along the side of the mountain, come down into the valley, roll through Daly City in San Francisco, across the bay, and then they come and see us. I think I've told you before, a long time ago, San Franciscans named the fog Carl. It's something that they quite like. I have several things going on today that I could easily do a program about, but today I can't lie, I'm a little distracted. Several years ago, I had a very full calendar. I had, as a part of my transition, my personal transition, my personal bonsai treatment, my personal carving, I had 3 surgeries planned and was able to do 2 in the fall before the third one was canceled by my insurance company for political reasons. It's like during the last administration, we were watching everybody in my situation, we were all watching our insurance become nearly worthless before our eyes. And at the time, I had 3 scheduled surgeries, and I was able to get, and they had been on the schedules for years, and I was able to get 2 of them done before all the funding went away and my insurance went away. And I went on some copay that was about the same for the note of a Learjet, I think. So it took me a couple of years to set all of that up again. And now we're in what looks to be slightly more open time. So I pick up where I left off 3 years ago, and today I have a meeting with a surgeon at 2:30. The last time I talked with this person was 3 years ago, and I said, I'll see you in 2 months. That surgeon is somebody who had already done 2 procedures to me before. So that's kind of a little bit going to be my priorities today, like it or not. I'll have to position myself for a phone interview. The other interviews, it's like before my other 2 surgeries, and they're not interviews, they're called consultations. You meet with your surgeon and you do a consult. And they tell you what's going on, they tell you what they're going to do to you, they ask you if you're okay with that, you exchange all your thoughts and plans on all that stuff, and then they tell you when they're going to see you again, and they might see you one other time before you meet them at the hospital. So it's not, I know, the most bonsai related. I thought I would kind of talk through that quicker, so I've just kind of been spilling it out and showing you trees. Look at this wisteria. Look at this wisteria. last year, my wisteria did not do a second flush, but I was noticing the other wisterias around in the neighborhood did. And not this year. Not this year. The 2-year-old clones are doing all kind of great stuff. And I believe the Dawn Redwood, I probably did help it a little by putting it on the rail. That seemed to have gotten the top kick-started a little better. But then as soon as that happened, the wind got really bad, and I might have had a little bit of dieback, but for the most part, I think a lot of this is okay. And so it'll be interesting to see. I was watching Ryan talk the other day, and they were talking about defoliating cypresses. And Dawn Redwoods and cypresses in a lot of ways. Dawn Redwood and bald cypress in a lot of ways can be treated the same way. I have people that have owned these trees and called them the other because they thought they had, like people have ordered cypress and gotten Dawn Redwoods or vice versa. So one thing, these can live standing in water. As far as I know, these will die if they're standing in water. But the other thing is, what I got sidetracked from was what I was told was you got to watch defoliating these things because they can shut down on you. And what he was talking about is not something that I had experienced, but I have to say I learned a lot of lessons on this tree, and I was especially I went all Pulp Fiction on it in the very beginning, and I pretty much just the more I liked it, the more it got better and better and better. The more I could just go, well, just keep cutting on it and stuff. So when it got powdery mildew and just totally defoliated it, it was the same thing as my defoliating it for that second flush of growth. And instead of it coming forth with a second flush of growth, which would be after the little summer dormancy, it shut down, and it's taken its own sweet time for all of this stuff to push out. I know I said that this guy had suffered dieback 3 months ago, and I said at the time, not knowing that it wasn't going to move, that I pointed to all these little push shoots, and I said it'll be back in 3 weeks. Well, it just did that and stopped. For months now. So putting it back up on the rail in the sunshine does seem to have helped to got that started, but it also may have I have to worry about these new shoots getting cooked under that light, because this thing is about 18 inches tall. From there to there would have put the top too close to the trees for it and to be new shoots. So when you defoliate, you can piss these guys off. And I think my heavy wood carving, my constantly moving the tree to different places that I thought it would either like better, or sometimes another tree didn't look to be doing as well, and I went, well, I'll just move to Dawn Redwood. It can put up with anything. So the constant moving, the carving, the everything I did to it to learn how to do it, and then on top of that, to get PM, powdery mildew, I think I shut that tree down. And I also think that it forgave me, and I won't lose it. It'll be pretty again. But this is an FYI. This is not me freaking out being afraid. This is me saying you can take a hardy tree that will never mess with you and mess with it enough to where it will start messing with you, just like a friend will if you mess with them enough. So yeah, don't mess with your trees. Everybody seems to be doing pretty well. I've been really loving the growth that's pushing through on my oaks. I'm watching my wire. It's a great time for these guys to grow really quickly and probably bite a little bit. And I have had that happen with this tree before. And the last time it happened, I was more concerned about it. I don't know. I really started thinking about it differently. If these guys get the motion that they need, and these guys get the motion that they need, if they've got a little bit of bite in there, they're going to swell up a lot more and probably even that out. And when it's all said and done, eventually it'll get bark. And bark goes a long way. Bark will go a long way towards, I think, towards probably helping. It'll probably, a little, like with the pines and stuff, you let those dig in and kind of squish out in between the wire. And then when you pull it off, you've got this kind of flattened cavity where the tree trunk kind of rose up over the edge of the wire, and it makes it and the come off is once that bark's over, is that you've got a thicker piece of older looking foliage there, instead of having something that looks like that looks skinny, or that looks like it has wire marks. You end up with something that looks really nice. Showing you the growth that's pushing through on this this little gifted black pine. Yeah. So, short story long, I think I touched on it before. I went to go pay my rent at the front office, and somebody had just been gifted from the office party. They were giving away little juniper bonsai trees, and the thing had already sat on a desk for a month by the time I saw it, and I went, yeah, that's a dried arrangement. It's been dead a couple of months. And they were like, we thought so, we didn't know. And I'm like, yeah, we can't live inside. Didn't have a light, didn't get enough water. So then, flash forward, I said, I'll bring you something that you can put next to the window. And that is where my little bougainvillea went. The lady in the office who was really heartbroken about the death of the tree wanted to know what she had done wrong and how she could amend. And I said, I'll give you one that if you water it and put it in a window, you can bring in the wintertime and enjoy. And that's what the bougainvillea was about. And nothing more than the mention that I would do that. I came in a couple of weeks later and they went, do you want this? And it was a Brussels box with, don't say the tree is ugly. I'm not going to say the tree is ugly. The tree will hear me. But this is a little Brussels tree. Probably, I don't know. It's a cool little tree. Free. Black pine. Got wire in it so deep I'll never get that out. Likely. As you can see, the my big Japanese black pine is coming out with all kind of stuff from our leaf exchange this year. I happy that I've learned some lessons on this that didn't cost me my tree. Also, part of it might not have been as bad as I thought, but part of it was, we were doing a little bit of a needle exchange there, and that's what happens every year. But on top of that, I was seeing striped leaves and half-dead needles, and we had our Dostroma. It's a thing. Also, I guess what I would probably say that I've learned this year is the old saying, I think it was John Nakadama, said, killing trees is the price of admittance to bonsai. And when I heard that, I'm hard-headed. I mean, I'm not the most hard-headed. I once knew a person who I knew I was no match for, but that doesn't mean that I'm not hard-headed. I'm hard-headed, and when I heard that, I'm like, no trees die. No trees die on my watch. I'm the plant person. I'm the keeper of green things alive always and forever. But some of that shite is actually out of your hands. It's arrogance to think that you have say over some of this. You can get a beetle. You can get a beetle and not know it because the beetle did its job, and it'll wreak havoc on your tree, and there's not a GD thing you can do about it. When you hear about people who have hundreds of trees, they tell you the story of the trees they lose every year, their numbers, and you know they know what they're doing, and you know they love their trees. So be the caretakers, and you know, when it goes your way, don't gloat, and when it doesn't go your way, don't beat yourself up. You're never as good as they say you are, but you're never as bad either. So we move on and live and learn. And so far I've been very lucky. I have things that are giving me great moments of bonsai joy every single day. Oh, here's something else I heard, and it's a good little phrases. Instead of giving people really highly technical tips, these are just little pings for the back of your mind. If you had a tree and you were falling out of love with a tree that you've loved in the past, it probably means it's time for you to do maintenance. If you've fallen out of love with one of your trees, it's probably a good indication that you have allowed it to get unkept or ratty looking, and that newfound love or joy for that tree is just a moment away on its little stand or on its little perch with a little weeding or nipping or trimming. So yeah, if you fall out of love with one of your trees, it's probably an indication that it could use a little cleanup by you. I thought that was a good point and probably had a lot of merit. So yeah, isn't this beautiful? Aren't we lucky to love trees? Other people go for walks and they see sidewalks and, you know, passerbys. We see passerbys and we see Nabaris and we see Yamadoris and we see natural literatis. Wherever we go, our mind gets infused with art forms in nature or commonplace used to occupy. And I just think that's awesome. Yeah. Sing it, duck. Enjoy your day. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe.